Estamos aquí con Robert Viglione. Él es el creador de la criptomoneda y el proyecto Horizen. How are you, Robert?
I'm doing well, thank you. Estoy bien.
Estás bien, okay. So,
Yeah.
talk to me about Horizen. It's a crypto-related, privacy-focused crypto project. Why do you think privacy is important for the cryptocurrency ecosystem?
So first of all, I believe that privacy is a human right. I think that every human being, in order to achieve just personal growth and prosperity, requires some level of privacy for some, many things, right?
Course.
And there are many things that I think in modern society we lose this concept. There's so much surveillance, there's so much of human rights that are violated, and I take the perspective from being all over the world. There are many countries where things are stable, but there are many countries where things are not so stable. And when they're not so stable, that's where I think we have the highest impact in the industry. So I got into this industry actually first in Afghanistan, and in Afghanistan it was a very unstable political environment. So there, I think people really understood the value of having assets outside of their political jurisdiction and having some degree of control and personal control over it. So my perspective all along has just been of one where I think that individual freedom it's necessary to have privacy.
Of course. And how do Horizen achieve privacy in terms of transactions and the messaging app?
Right, yeah, so we have a few different ways that we do that. The first and most important one is that we use zero-knowledge cryptography.
Okay.
So zero-knowledge is sort of like the same strand that comes from ZenCash.
Of course.
For the transaction layer. And then we layered on a network level security, so we use TLS and SSL for network point-to-point encryption. So first of all, everything that happens on our network can be point-to-point encrypted, so a tunnel. Okay. And then even what goes through that tunnel is still encrypted, so it's very private. So the first application was currency, cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
The second,
ZenCash.
yes. The second application was a messaging service.
Mm-hmm.
So we created a messaging protocol that uses zero-knowledge cryptography, and we're going to be extending that. And now we have other planned applications that will enhance privacy even further. Things that we're considering are things like a VPN service.
Okay.
So when people connect
Like
to the
Brave
internet,
or something?
so not necessarily like a browser yet, although
Okay.
I would like to get into that. But things like if you're, for instance, in China, and you can't access all of the world's internet, right? There's a big firewall, like the Great Wall of China. Yeah, exactly, the Great Firewall of China. So what people in China use is a VPN, a virtual private network, where they connect to this VPN service, and they can now connect to any place in the world. So they basically go around the firewall. So this is the next type of service we're trying to provide.
That's great.
Yeah.
So this is why you differ from Zcash or Monero or other privacy-focused cryptocurrency. But in terms of transactions,
Yes.
how you're different from them?
So in terms of transactions, it's just like Zcash.
Okay.
Right. So, but the whole thing that we're doing really, in our focus and what we bring that's new, is we're building a platform that then uses and extends the zero-knowledge cryptography into a whole bunch of different areas. Like VPN, we're actually building a whole what's called the sidechain service. So basically, like our solution is scaling. We want to do a lot of different business applications on the blockchain, rather than do them all through the main chain, like most blockchain projects do, which then can bog things down and it becomes cluttered, is we do things in a very more elegant architecture where you can have things on their own sidechains. For instance, we can have a tokenization standard on its own sidechains.
I understand that your sidechain works with POS, with proof of stake, and it differs from your main chain, which works with proof of work.
Proof of work, exactly.
Why is that different?
Yeah, so
Why did you choose proof of stake?
Because proof of stake, first of all, we want to experiment with proof of stake.
Okay.
And there are some classic problems with proof of stake that we're solving. Things like nothing at stake problem. So we think we have some very nice design improvements to proof of stake that we want to build on our sidechains rather than the main chain. The main chain we think is important to still be proof of work, but we want the sidechains to be very scalable. And proof of stake, they're very fast systems. So proof of stake systems can move extremely fast. You don't have to wait for block times like you do with proof of work, right? So in order to have really extremely fast and scalable systems that we want to build here, we're doing that on proof of stake with sidechains.
Okay.
So it's a nice, elegant, like hybrid system that still has the security properties of proof of work, but the scalability properties of proof of stake.
And do you think a proof of stake is as secure as proof of work?
That's a tough question to ask. So, and I can tell you, we're not changing our main chain protocol. From that security perspective, proof of work is like battle hardened, right? Proof of work has been operating for 10 years successfully.
Yeah.
We don't want to change that. Now we're experimenting with the proof of stake. So far, there actually has not been, proof of stake systems, I should say, have been very successful to date. I mean,
Can I grab one?
it's still please. It's still a very viable consensus alternative, but we're still going to try to improve that and make it even more secure.
Okay, great. And how is Horizen dealing with adoption here in Latin America?
So you just missed our regional manager for Latin America. In fact, Latin America, we can say, is the one target market that we're actually funding very specific outreach programs. So our plan here is to have a hybrid strategy of conferences, regular meetups in different key important cities, and then also teams on the ground of people who are local experts in these markets. So in each of these teams builds out their own teams, and they grow that way. And right now we're thinking about a sales and incentive model to actually get merchant adoption and to get merchants to encourage their customers to use Zen.
Okay, that's great. And recently, I think this year you did an association with IOHK,
Correct.
isn't it? How is that affecting the decision making in Horizen? Is it affecting the centralization? I don't know, having an enterprise behind you?
Right, so it's a very important research and development partnership that we have. In fact, one of the big projects we have with IOHK is to build our treasury voting system. So we're trying to decentralize governance so that it's not like me or other team members making decisions for the whole project.
Because you work as a DAO, isn't it?
Right, so that's the goal, and that's the research that we have with IOHK, is to build a DAO, essentially.
Okay.
Now we have a nonprofit foundation that makes decisions with the resources.
Established in Delaware, isn't it?
Exactly. To do research, exactly. But now we want to decentralize that further and actually have like a liquid democracy. So democratize our treasury, basically.
Okay.
We envision this as sort of like a future version of a corporation where instead of having like a centrally controlled corporation, we want a decentralized DAO.
Okay, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Robert. Say hi to the people of CriptoNoticias.
Thank you guys for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Exactly.